All right, ready? I got that. All right, you got a queen? All right, let's.
A6 of hearts.
Woo! What's up, guys? We finally made it out of the desert and over to Los Angeles. It's the morning of my very first meetup game, and I'm feeling really nervous. I am. My whole experience of being a YouTuber, being a poker vlogger, quote unquote, is showing up to the casino like normal, playing hands, and then going to my computer, recording some voiceovers, sending all the stuff to my sister who makes magic happen with the edits, and then just posting it to YouTube. Like, all of those steps pretty much happen alone. I flew my sister out here. She's gonna film all of you guys who showed up. This is the first time I'm meeting a whole bunch of you all at once in person and having like the pressure of hosting an event. I just had to get that off my chest because I'm nervous. I want to make it fun for everyone who shows up. I hope that they all have a good time. I hope they know how grateful I am, and like that's the whole thing that I want to get out of this. Another secret before Jesse comes out of the shower is that I really am going to try to encourage him to vlog his hands for the first time. Anyway, let's get to it. This is my first time walking into Hustler, and it's a lot bigger than I expected. There are table games lit by chandelier, a bar to the right, gift shops to the left, all connected by floor to ceiling, red velvet walls. Not exactly the decor I was expecting in an LA card room. The team at Hustler is a big supporter of vloggers, and with me, they were no different. They even let me add a big blind ante to my cash game so that it could become hybrid cash game and tournament, which you guys know that I love. All the big blind ante does is add a little bit extra dead money and create more action throughout the night. Jesse's at one table learning how to vlog. I'm at the other table, just bought in for 1K, ready to kick this thing off. I didn't even start the camera. I'm already discombobulated. My very first hand at my very first meetup table is ace jack suited in the low jack. Under the gun 2 had already opened to 15. I'm gonna be 3-betting this one, and I'm gonna be 3-betting as much as I can during these games just to pump up the action. I know people didn't come all the way out to meetup games for a boring table, so I make this one $45 to go. Small blind says that's fair enough, and under the gun 2 sticks in a call as well. So 3 ways we all see the ace jack 3 flop already running really hot, and the small blind under the gun 2 both check it over to me. I do want to c-bet obviously, but since I have the board so locked down, I'm gonna go on the smaller side and try to string them along. So I put out 40 bucks. Small blind does not think this is enough money, and he raises to $150 total. Under the gun 2 is out of there, and obviously the decision is whether to call or re-raise. I want to keep in all the bluffs by calling. The turn is the jack of clubs. Before I even have time to get excited about making a full house, my opponent says, and he has about $305, but it doesn't really matter. I obviously say, I call. I have a very good hand. And he immediately flips over ace-king offsuit. So he cold called the ace-king pre-flop instead of 4-betting, got it in with me on this turn, and we went over $500 in the very, very first hand. Welcome to the game, guys. As I'm scooping in the pot, guy to my right says, yikes. The fix is in. This is the first hand. Wow. All right, Kaci, you got a lot of catching up to do if you're going to beat me. As I'm scooping into that one, I get dealt queen 10 offsuit under the gun 2. Not normally an open, but like I said, I just want to be given some action in this game. I'm all pumped up. I'm ready to play. So I raised to 15 bucks. Same guy calls on the button. He's ready to battle me, and the flop comes out ace jack 5 rainbow. It's deja vu. I c-bet this one, this time 10 bucks out of position, small once again. He makes the call, and the dealer puts out the king of hearts right on the turn. No sweat. We make Broadway. Now it's time to get some value. I size up on this turn. I bet $50 into 57, trying to target those ace-x holdings, but he wisely lets this one go. Nuts. This really is a fix, I think. Last hand. At my very first meetup game table ever. Yes. And how many people called? Only 5 people. All right, so big family pot. We all see the 8-4-3 rainbow board. Both blinds check. I just usually automatically check when there's 4 or more people in a pot just because I think it's a good way to stay balanced. But I am playing a 1-3 game. I probably should just bet and protect my hand, which going forward, I definitely will do. But I checked this time and the button throws out a $35 bet. So half the pot, small blind calls. Big blind calls, I call, and only under the gun one lets his hand go. So 4 people still here on the turn, which is the deuce of diamonds. And normally the deuce on the turn is a pretty big brick, but in this case, it lets 5-6 get there, ace 5, so a couple of straights for the big blind. So when both blinds check, I'm gonna continue to check and kind of pump the brakes on this turn card. The button checks back as well, he doesn't like it, and the river is the king of diamonds. And then both blinds check again. So now I'm not really worried about either one of those guys having a straight. I'm not worried about the button having a straight. All those guys would have bet at this point now. You know, there may be somebody who has a backdoor flush. I think that my hand is probably pretty good and that I could get value from a hand like an 8, maybe pocket 7s, gets really curious and throws in a call. So I go for it. I try to squeeze out a thin value bet of $90. The button doesn't take too long before sliding in a stack of 90. The other guys fold, and when I show him my hand, he has Nice hand. Watch it all go away. Final last words is last hand in the meetup game. Okay, good luck you guys. I'll see you soon. Props to Hustler for trying to make all us little vloggers look like a big deal. They even asked for a signature on a big picture of my face. Before moving on to table 2, I got handed an extremely thoughtful, heartwarming present from one of my table mates named Ryan. Safe to say, this meetup game is off to a great start. Oh my goodness! I wish I wasn't reading this on camera right now. It's so nice. He doesn't want to be on camera, but he's going to get a very big hug after that. What is this? Is it a It's a little teapot. It's got a little bell. I love this. Yay! That is so cute. Now that I'm feeling settled in, I head over to Jesse's table to help him get set up. Most vloggers do not have their very first attempt at vlogging captured, but today we're going to be following Jesse around and see how he does.
There we go. And then tilt it so I can get the cards.
So you can figure out the angle.
All right, we got you. We got the thing. I'm getting better at this. We got the board. This is in no way a tell. Oh, I didn't show my hand.
Well, at least he's doing his best. And eventually, he did get a hand on camera. Welcome to the vlog, Jess.
All right, very first hand in the vlog. Let's do this. So this hand starts out with me raising king queen of suited cards over a limper. The limper and the button decide to come along for the ride. The flop is 8-9-3 rainbow. It checks to me, and I decide to bet. While my hand isn't very good on this board, I do really want to win the pot. The good news is we lose the big blind. The bad news is the button lets me know that he will not be dissuaded so easily.
It's you and me, Jesse. What do you know?
The turn is the 8 of diamonds, and I check back. The river is the offsuit 5, and now he bets really small. There's a few things going on here in my mind. First of all, I'm getting a great price. Second of all, I beat a lot of hands like Queen Jack, Jack 10, that sort of stuff that missed their straight draw. Finally, I feel like people are trying to just get everyone in these meetup games, especially get the people doing the meetup. I kind of feel like they'll be taking it to me a little more often than they should. I'd really like to set an example early and let everyone know that I can't be pushed around. So after a little deliberation, I decide to flick in the chips. He turns over the Queen Jack offsuit and my hand is good.
And how did you know I had nothing? That's even more crazy. Well, I beat all the straight draws, so. Everyone busted out. Having a queen wasn't great though for me.
Oh, this hand.
Can't wait to hear you guys' opinion on this one. I think it's going to be split down the middle what you think, but here we go. Hijack limps in for $3. I make it 15 in the cutoff with pocket queens. The button comes along. Her name is Michelle. I play with her in a lot of ladies tournaments. We've even played at the same final table at a Venetian ladies final table before. So I have a little bit of history with her, and the big blind also makes the call. So hijack limp, I raise, button calls, big blind calls, and hijack also throws in the extra $12. So on this type of flop, obviously in a standard 4-way flop, I'm gonna go smaller than this, but in this meetup game, I'm trying to get my value right away in these multi-way pots. I'm tired of betting small or just checking and letting people get there. So I go $50 this time. I'm trying to charge draws. I'm trying to charge a 10, and I think they will call no matter what size I go. So I kind of exploitably cheat up a little bit. Even still, with that sizing, button and big blind both come along. So still 3 people left to see the 7 of diamonds turn. Womp womp. Not exactly what I'm looking for here, but I do have that queen of diamonds as a sort of safety net. Big blind checks. I think I should slow down on this one for sure, so I check. Button now, Michelle, makes it $100 to go, a little less than half the pot. Big blind decides it's his time to muck his hand. You know, it doesn't feel very good to call, but it doesn't feel very good to fold either. So I'm just gonna cross my fingers and flick in a call that she slows down on the river. The river is the 6 of spades. I check it to her again, and she rather quickly bets $300. So 3/4 of a pot size river bet. And if I wasn't feeling great about it on the turn, I'm definitely not feeling too hot about it now. So I end up folding. And you will never guess what she claimed to have later on.
I had pocket 2s.
Did you really?
Got bluffed.
Nice bluff. Did you?
I had pocket 2s.
Oh my god. Bluffed again on the vlog. What can I do? That's right. Pocket 2s. I didn't get to see this hand, so I cannot confirm or deny whether she has pocket 2s. But that's what she claimed she had. I don't really see a point in her lying. She only wanted to tell me and not the rest of the table. So I don't really see her lying about it. I think she was just excited that she bluffed me, wanted to tell me because like she was proud of it, and she got me. We lost that one. All right, in this one, we have a straddle going, and the under the gun player limps in for $6. I have ace-6 of diamonds in the low jack. I'm going to be raising this up. I'm ready for some more action. Make it $20 to go. We end up going 3 ways to the ace-jack-3 rainbow flop in this hand. Under the gun checks. This is a solid medium strength hand, so I want to check this one and be a little bit sneaky with my top pair. Button checks back, and all 3 of us see the king of diamonds on the turn, so now we pick up the nut flush draw. On this turn, under the gun checks again. Since I can call a check raise on this turn and I can even get value from worse pairs, I decide to throw out a bet of $30. Button calls for $30. Under the gun now check raises the 2 of us to $100. I did not see that one coming. I'm certainly sticking around with my nut flush draw, so I put in $70. Button is out of there. How much is it?
No, actually, I'm paying for it.
Are you? I can pay for it.
That's okay.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Cheers, man. Cheersing mid-hand. I love it. Boom. Thank you very much. There, and now I'm heads up with under the gun to the Jack of Hearts river, and he's not slowing down. He bets 200 into a pot of $300 on this river. I don't beat much, y'all. He could have King Jack that raises the turn. He could have Queen 10 that raises the turn, and I don't really see much else. I don't really see him trying to bluff me off a chop. That would be a really interesting check raise to try to bluff me off the chop when he was the limper and I was the pre-flop raiser. So I'm not really quite sure. I mean, I did check the flop. So sometimes when you check the flop, people just don't give you credit for anything in these lower stakes games. So sometimes you have to take that into account. I don't know. I just didn't feel great about this. I don't want to call just a chop. So I end up laying it down. And he makes a funny comment about like just an ace and shows just an ace, but that doesn't really mean anything. I mean, that could certainly be ace jack of spades. If he really just had an ace and Michelle really just only had pocket deuces, these meetup gamers are really taking me for a ride, bluffing me left and right. Time for a table change. It's been 2 hours so far. It's been fun. I feel like I was a little underprepared because they're asking me all these questions like, oh, what's the bomb pot situation? And I'm just like, you guys pick. So yeah, we've been just sort of figuring it out on the fly. Vlogger 101, I'm figuring out when you have a meetup game, come in with a plan. All right, let's check in on Jesse, who looks like he remembered to hit the record button this hand.
This hand begins with me opening pocket twos from early position like a man with no fear and even less brains. Instead of a bunch of folds like I was expecting, I'm greeted with 2 calls, a 3-bet, and a cold call. I casually slide in the call and pray to every god in the Game of Thrones show to put a 2 out on the flop. The Jack-Jack-8 flop certainly does not contain a 2, but then both players check to me. At this point I'm a little confused and maybe skeptical about what they have, so I just check back. The turn is another jack and they both check again. At this point, I'm starting to think my hand is pretty good here. I put out a little bet, 40 into 160. I'm just trying to get called by ace high here, and I'm still giving them the wrong price. The cutoff quickly calls, and then the big blind tanks a little bit and calls as well. Now the wheels are really turning in my head. What do they both have? I expected somebody to call with ace high, but is it possible they both have ace high? Does big blind have something like ace 8 or pocket 6s or something like that? I'm not really sure at this point. The river's a very nice looking 3. And at this point, I'm just planning to check it back when it checks to me. But now the big blind starts tanking. He decides to check, and me and the cutoff check back pretty quickly. After a little bit of indecision, the other players let me know that my pair is good. I table it and take the pot. The big blind looks gutted that he missed an opportunity.
500 I would have folded.
You would have folded if somebody's calling with queens or with tens. You would have folded for 50. I was thinking about betting, and I didn't even start.
I had ace 8.
I'm trying to remember if I had jack 5 this hand or last hand. If I had jack 5 this hand, that sucks.
No, I mean,
Not only does this group get the award for best table talk, but I found myself winning a 100 big blind pot with pocket 2s. That doesn't happen every day.
I make my way over to the only table I have not been at today, and it is a party table. These guys got Saturday night vibes, and I think they're ready to try something new.
All right, we're gonna do our first stand-up game. Let's go. Let's do it. All right, let's decide on the rules. What do we want? What does the last person stand owe everyone?
$10. $10 each.
$10 each, so 70. What is it?
Oh,
1,
that's
2,
a lot.
3, 60 bucks. 60.
Yeah, I didn't count the people. But that's so.
We also decided to have an alternative method of payment, which would be 1 squat equals $1. So in this case, if you lost a stand-up game, you'd owe us 60 squats.
I'm gonna at least try.
Here I am floating 10 high on an 8 high board, just trying to bink a pair or let the guy check back and then I could bluff him on the river.
All right, here's the flop. Here's the dude.
This is weird. Like, I don't know if I want to. This is the hand. Oh, is that how it works?
Sitting down is
If
good.
you win your hand, then you sit.
And I don't have to pay out?
Last one standing pays everyone.
So it's a
You're
punishment
getting
if
punished
you don't win.
if
Oh,
you
the
don't
last
win
one standing has to
You
pay out
want
60
to win?
bucks?
Yeah.
Oh, shit. Okay. I bet.
Now he's
What's going on over here?
I mean,
I'm
what?
trying to not pay
What are they talking you into? What are they talking
bluffing.
He's actually in the best shape. He already said he has like a fitness app. So
All right, I really have nothing. I was just hoping that you wouldn't have a shoe. What did you have?
More than blind.
Nice. Okay, all right. Yeah.
So hand 1 is won by the fittest guy at the table who said he wanted to stand and he wanted to do squats. No justice in poker. I already folded hand number 2, so I'm rooting for this guy to my right.
Did I do that? Okay.
All right, we got this.
Go ahead. I got absolutely none of that board. Yes.
There we go. Nice job. Yes. All right. Second guy gets to sit.
of course. I had the queen.
With 2 guys already seated, I have to win in the next 4 hands. Otherwise, I owe this table some money. In this one, 3 people limp. I'm on the button with the beautiful King Queen of Diamonds. Obviously, I want to raise it up and try to isolate just at least one player or take it down now. So I make it $30, which is a little larger than normal. This is obviously a good hand, so I want to charge people with their crappy pre-flop holdings that are just in there to gamble it up in this game. Just my friend in the under the gun spot calls. So heads up, the flop is 9, 8, deuce, 2 hearts and a diamond. So we've got some stuff working for us with the 2 overs and a backdoor flush draw. But he does something interesting. He leads into me for $35, about half the pot. So since I have 2 overs, a lot of backdoors, and I think he's gonna be leading a lot more often in a stand-up game than he normally would, I decide to float. I really didn't think too deeply into this in the moment. I just called. So now we turn a gutter ball and he checks it to me, and I see this as my window of opportunity to just go for it.
You risk your entire stack and start to get paid like $10.
This is who we're up against right now. Look at how casual that is.
He's not done with it yet, and so both of us see the Jack of Spades river. Bink, we got there.
Can you say that again? Take two.
Making the nuts on the river feels really good, especially in the stand-up game. He checks once again. I'm gonna go for more value. I bet $150.
I have to fold.
Yay! I have the nuts.
He does not like it anymore. He claims he had a 9. We get to sit down, third one in the game. We are not gonna lose this one. Instead, I just get to be a fun thorn in people's sides as they try to win their pot with bad hands.
Thank you. It's getting down to the nitty gritty, you guys. I know. I thought you were gonna bluff off 400.
Yeah, well, it's plenty of time left. Don't worry.
Nice. All right.
We got more equity than they did, I'm sure.
Corner City. Woo-hoo. All right, 3 left.
Real now.
Damn it! I'm only in a pot with sitting people. Here's the situation, okay? This is the board. This guy, who was just dying to do 60 squats, made it, he just raised to an amount. He didn't even know.
I didn't even know.
This guy was very stiff and then made it all in.
All in.
All right. So I think you know what to do.
Yeah, let's, do we show them?
Yeah.
So, we do.
They already know what I have. It's on the screen.
Okay.
We're gonna slide. We're gonna slide. Yeah, we're gonna fold.
I'm folding top pair
Whoa!
because he went all in, and I think he's got.
That's all it takes. You just have to say all in. Oh! Good hand. Good hand. Straight flush draw.
See what would have happened.
Oh, these two. Last guy standing.
Oh, I'm not paying the 60. I'm doing the 60 squat.
Okay.
And I'm gonna be dead.
I think he wants to do squats.
Anti.
He's chilling. You could be the troublemaker. You could be the hero we all need.
What do you want me to do?
I mean, I just want you to win the pot. Or make them pay a lot to lose the pot. Yeah.
He's heads up.
No, we've got 3 hands.
He's sitting down.
Yeah, he won. He's still in the pot. What Ashley's saying is I can cause
He can mess with these
I
two.
can put max pain on both these guys, but I can't now
Man,
because
I'm talking about 3 left.
I can't. No.
Aw, all right. This is gonna be the showdown. This is the showdown. Oh! Let's see him.
And the last guy standing is none other than Stu, who you guys may recognize from his deep run in the 2017 main event. But Stu, you either owe us some money or some squats.
All right, 60 squats or 60 bucks. What's it gonna be? 6, 7. Yeah! Woo!
All right, now that we're all sitting, we've got the straddle going, people are splashing around, and I'm sticking around at this table for a little while because I'm just having a lot of fun. After low jack limps, I look down at king jack offsuit in the cutoff and decide I'm gonna raise this up and isolate him. So I make it $30 to go, and as I'm still in the middle of some chit chat, I can feel the button getting ready to 3-bet me. So I pick up my camera and say,
part of the journey. Oh yeah, this is serious now. I got him to not bluff me.
And with that, he gets a little nervous and backs out of the 3-bet and just folds. Anyway, the big blind is our casual businessman friend, and he cold calls, $27 more. Low jack makes a call as well, so 3 ways we all see the king jack 6, all heart flop. Flopping top 2, but it is a monotone board. When they both check to me, I'm going to put out a bet of $20. In general, I'm not going to be betting large on monotone flops, and I'm not betting large in 3-way pots. So I bet $20. Big blind comes along, and the low jack folds. So the turn is the 10 of spades, and now he does his favorite thing, which is to lead into me. This time he bets $55. Pretty small amount, but I don't really want to raise. He's kind of handcuffed me with this bet, so I just call. And the river is the 4 of diamonds. Now he slows down with a check. I don't think he would be doing that with a flush, so I go for some value. I bet $70, just trying to get a crying call out of whatever he led turn with. But he does land on a fold, claims he had 1 heart.
You didn't have the heart, though.
I didn't have your heart.
No, I had 2 birds.
Okay.
And we move on to the next hand. All right, it's the last few hands of the night, and there are about to be some fireworks. In this one, I put the straddle on. Hijack calls that straddle. Cutoff raises to $20. We have some history, which I'll tell you about in a minute. Both small blind and big blind call. I call with queen 10 of clubs in the straddle, and the hijack comes along as well. So big family pot brewing. And guess what, you guys? Check out this flop. The dealer puts out a flush for me. 9-6-4, all clubs. We check it all the way around to the pre-flop raiser, and he bets $25. 1/4 of the pot. When both lines fold, it's on to me, and I could raise it up right here, or I could slow play, spring the trap, and just call, which is what I end up doing. I called the $25. He had me sign some stuff earlier for him.
My card protecting my Brad Owen signed.
Look at, so who do you have so far? Just Brad?
Just Brad.
And this is Rampage's thing. Look at that.
Bought me a margarita. He has been really vocal about this being a slightly larger game for him. Turn card comes down the 10 of spades. Again, I check playing in flow. Cut off now bets 45. So this is the second time he's bet pretty small. And usually on the turns, people size up a little bit if they have a good holding, and they size down when they're planning on checking back the river. So this is my moment. I make it $150 to go. No cheap showdowns for you, sir. You're gonna have to put in some money to see this river card. And he agonizes over this decision.
Yeah. Ashley, you know, I just made all this profit. Why you gotta do that? So smart.
He kind of gives away the strength of his hand. He looks really uncomfortable, but eventually he makes the call. The river is now the 8 of hearts. Nothing much changes from my perspective. I've still got the queen high flush, and I'm gonna keep going for value. So I lead for $300 this time. A little less than 3/4 of the pot. Again, he goes into the tank. He's in agony. He's in a lot of pain. He's squirming around.
This is some pro level stuff, man. It's either she has it or she doesn't.
He slides out the $300, making the call. When I show him that I have a flush, he reveals he rivered a straight with queen jack. So he was getting frisky throughout this hand, and a lot of the people at this table have been very vocal about having the ante make this game slightly bigger than they're used to. Under the gun is that same opponent. He calls, as does under the gun 1 and 2, and I'm on the button with 5-4 of hearts. This looks like a lot of dead money in my eyes, so I make it $40 to go. Under the gun 1 is the only person to call, and so we go heads up to the king queen 3 2 heart flop, which is a really dynamic board for me. It's a really fun one for this particular hand. I have a ton of turn cards that I can barrel this guy off of whatever he limp called with. So when he checks to me, I'm gonna start with a bet. I bet $55, just trying to clear out some of those maybe pairs under a queen or ace highs, stuff like that. He makes the call, and the turn is the ace of spades. So not only do we have a flush draw, now we pick up a deuce to make a wheel, and this is a really good card for me as the pre-flop raiser against a limper. So I'm going to be bluffing this card, and I decide on a bigger size bet of $130. Doesn't take him too long before he calls, so we're either gonna need to get bailed out on the river or blast so that we can get him off of whatever holding he's got. Womp womp. Total letdown. None of our outs come in, so we're gonna have to bluff him if we want to win this ginormous pot. So he checks it over to me. I empty the clip. I make it $300 to go, which is essentially putting him all in. And after maybe 10 seconds of thinking, he tosses in that one chip. Oh, disappointing. I have to turn over my 5 high, but I do it with confidence. And you'll never guess what he flips over. Yeah, that's right. He overcalled the limp pre with ace king offsuit. Never would have seen that one coming, so props to him. He takes a huge pot off of me, and on to our last hand of the night. So one thing I learned at this meetup game is that when you tell people that you're about to leave the table, action gets a little bit crazier. So in this one, I had already said I'm leaving in a few hands. I'm wrapping up the night. It had been 6 full hours of action, almost 6.5 full hours of action, and it was just time to go. So Under the Gun made it 15 to go. Hijack player calls the 15, and just a quick side note, I had been raising and isolating, and I'm going for it. So I make it $60 to go, 3-bet over the 2 people. And out of nowhere, my friend over in the small blind goes all in for $155 total. No, this is not going to plan. Under the Gun folds, Hijack folds, and it's just not that much. I'm not ahead of most things that he has, but I probably am drawing live against overcards. So I just stick it in, chalk it up to a donation, and we sweat it out together, 1 card at a time.
I got that. Can you want to show one? All right, you got a queen? All right, let's.
A6 of hearts.
Woo! I'm a flush. I'm a flush. I'm a flush. Oh my god.
My God, that's crazy.
So this is the 3rd person who I've stacked today, and ask any vlogger that has hosted a meetup game, it is always a bittersweet moment. But I'm just banking on the fact that everybody knows what they're signing up for when they come to these meetup games.
I'm officially out. There we go. Yay! Kaci looks like boss mode right now. Whoop whoop.
In for 1,000, out for $1,350 for a total profit of $350 in this 1-3 game. That was a ton of fun, and more importantly, I was just so excited to check mark this milestone off of the vlog. Having the first meetup game happen, as it was a resounding success based on how much fun everybody was having, and can't wait for round 2 tomorrow. Although Jesse lost 415 on the night, we officially got him, guys. We pulled him into the vlogger sphere, and I'm excited to see where we go from here.
The king is back.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I looked at the same one twice, I guess.